Hey, peace, love and light to you all, family. Welcome to another YouTube video with me, your host, Mathix. Now we're back at it again. Now, on today's video, we're going to be talking about shadow work. But into the topic, not too much, we're just gonna dabble into it, So, what I want you to know first of all is that when it comes to spiritual topics or spiritual conversations, they are unorthodox only to the uninitiated mind. So if you can comprehend, if you can sit there and watch these videos and resonate with what I'm saying, and not only with just what I'm saying, resonate with other information that you've come across from doing your own research, because it's important to do your own research. If you resonate with such topics, it means that your soul has come into the lifetime where it has now decided to finally awaken to its own divinity, because the soul goes through different cycles of sleep and wakefulness. We're not talking about physical sleep, we're talking about the sleep of the mind. We're talking about the fall of man that they speak about in Genesis. We're talking about the eating of the tree of good and evil, because once you eat of the tree of good and evil, you fall into a fleshly material embodiment, which is the body. You see, so now there will come a time where you seek to eat of the other tree, because there were two trees in the garden, the tree of good and evil, and there was the tree of life. The tree of life is symbolic of your body. That's where now you are partaking of higher truths. So if you resonate, if you can hear this and it can make sense to you, then know that this is your lifetime. And do not look at the external world, which is still too logical, which is still too, no, these things are pseudoscience. No, it's a real science. Some things you can't explain them, because you can't explain. I'm going to use a silly example. You can't explain having pubic hair to an 8-year-old kid who doesn't have pubic or armpit hair. They don't have it. There's nothing you could possibly say to say having pubic hair feels like this. They have to have it. You see, so it's stages of development. You see, so now when we're talking about shadow work, it's tunzi, muriti. What are we talking about? Okay, now to understand the shadow, you first of all have to understand light. Light. So in the material world, okay, when you take light, pure light, right, and then you shine it through a prism, that light breaks down into a 7-color spectrum of 7 colors called the Roy G. Biv. So it's colors ranging from red up to violet, and each of them differ in frequencies. So now those 7 colors in your embodiment as the pure light, so the pure light that hits the prism, which is your body, you could say that that pure light is your consciousness, and then that consciousness splits into 7 seals or 7 chakras or 7 fields of vision or 7 psychological states of being that you develop through, which are your 7 chakras, from your root, sacral, solar, heart, throat, third eye, and crown chakra. So those are the 7 spectrums, but you are the pure light that now becomes imprisoned or sealed, as they speak about it in the seven seals of revelation. So now what you see around you, things that you can touch, yourself, or anything that you can touch or see or smell, everything is light qualified as perception. So your eyes take in information, right, and then it decodes. We can even take it a step further to say that everything which you see outside is holographic. Check out a book, or check out Michael Talberg, The Holographic Universe. The ancients have long been speaking about this, but I just want to give you also scientists, modern day scientists, who can explain these particular theories to you. When the ancients were saying that the world that we live in is Maya meaning it's an illusion, right? So now, this holographic universe, the world outside is a projection of your mind, or what is outside is inside, projected externally. Just as if you were to go to the movies, that projector at the back would be what your consciousness is. It projects. If you go and sit in a cinema and it's dark and you look up, you can see that ray of light. That ray of light is your consciousness projecting from a different place that you are not even aware that you exist there yet. And then when that light hits the screen in the cinema, you could call that the third dimension. That's where things play out. That's the world of action. And where the projector starts from, you could call that the archetype. So you are a consciousness projecting into third density space for a particular experience, right? And so now that projection gets split into a 7-color band, which you know of as your chakra field. And that's how now you get to experience reality also now through the 5 senses of taste, touch, sight, sound, and smell. You see, so you are not your body. Number 1, that's the first level of shadow work, understanding that you are not your body, and also understanding that you are light. Everything is light. Everything is light, vibrating at a frequency that now becomes so dense that it becomes tangible. Because remember, atoms, at the core, at the essence, you are atoms. And the atoms make up molecules, the molecule make up cells, the cells make up tissues, the tissues make up organs, and then the different organs make up a whole organism. You see, so you are layered. You are a layer of different intelligent material. You have systems inside of you that make up a whole. You are an organization. You are a company of energies and forces of a divine mind existing in the physical. You see, so now, but if you do not know or come to comprehend the truth, then you are controlled by these forces. You are controlled by the 4 elements, fire, earth, and water. These elements now come to control you, whereas now you should be the mind or the highest state which controls them. So you are a spirit in a body. The body is not what you are. The body is what you are experiencing. You, in your essence, you are a soul. You are a spirit. You are something higher. And you are visiting this place. You are visiting the earth for an experience. You see, so your family, your lover, your children, your job, all of these things are experiences which you as a higher mind, as a higher spirit, as a higher soul have agreed to come and experience so that you could now develop certain aspects of that soul so that now you could become refined. Remember that diamonds are formed under heat and pressure. You see, so now you are under heat and pressure. That heat being your kundalini energy, that heat being coming from the gravitational force. That's actually the pressure, the gravitational force of this third density. It's basically cultivating your soul. So now let's get into the depths of shadow work, understanding that everything is light. Light can become disformed. That light, that intelligence can become inverted. So when you study what the zodiac signs are, the zodiac signs are archetypal states of mind. It's archetypes in what they call in Carl Jung psychology, which is ancient psychology. But you know, these days we attribute psychology, some theories, to Carl Jung. When they speak about the collective unconscious and the different states of the mind, they're talking also about the zodiac signs, which are archetypal states of mind. So the 12 disciples would be the 12 states of consciousness that you have to master, which are the 12 zodiac signs. So it doesn't matter that you are Libra, Aries, Sagittarius. You have all of these inside of you, and you must discipline each and every one of them. There's a primary one that you are born into. I'm a Libra, so I'm primarily a Libra, but I have all of them. You know, some are more prominent than others, and others are like just there in the background, but all of them, I have them inside of me, because to be complete, you have to exist within the blueprint of what the solar system, you know, is arranged as. So this solar system works in a cycle of 12. So now, knowing that you are light incarnated in the physical body, there's aspects of you that you must master. Those 12 disciples, those 12 tribes of Israel, those 12 zodiac signs contribute or constitute the material body, which is the shadow. El, light. El Shaddai, the shadow. So the light in the shadow. You are the light existing in the shadow, or the light that has taken on the shadow, the cross. When Jesus speaks about you must bear your own cross, the cross is the body. It's where you have been crucified at. This is the body is the tomb. The tomb is dark. So the body is the darkness. It's the beast. It's the 666. The 6 protons, 6 neutrons, 6 electrons. It's the carbon based. It's the darkness. So now you are encapsulated in darkness. And now what you must do as light is you must integrate the darkness. So the mind over matter, the matter is the feminine, it's the darkness, musadi. It's that, it's the soot on, the Satan, the sun setting, going into the darkness. Heru is the light that sets to go integrate, to go fight the shadow. You see, okay, let me give you examples of many stories or animation or movies where they talk about the integration of the shadow, because integrating the shadow is basically eating of the tree. When the snake in the garden came to Adam and Eve and said, hey, did God really say don't eat off the tree? What the snake was teaching these two entities, or that being, because it's all one thing. The snake, God, Adam and Eve, they are all one entity. It's all one being experiencing itself. You see, so now this being is talking to itself like, I need to integrate myself. So in order to integrate, you have to understand knowledge of good and evil, darkness and light. So Spider-Man 3. Spider-Man 3, that's integration of the shadow. The first two Spider-Man, he's walking around in his red suit. All of a sudden, boom, in Spider-Man 3, he has a dark suit. Shadow work, integration. He had to integrate that dark side of him because it always existed there. What's another one? Cartoons, Dragon Ball Z. When Goku goes ape and all the Saiyans, and they go ape, and then they can't control that, and then they have to master it. Shadow work. That's shadow work, because you have to. It's the shadow is a powerful force that you must master and bring under control. That's why when they can bring that state under control, they become Super Saiyans. The earlier ones that came before them, they couldn't master it, so they went rampage with that power until these later Saiyans, Goku, Vegeta, and them came, and then they could master that, and then they integrate the shadow. Naruto, in the animation Naruto, when he has that the fox inside of him, that's the shadow, that's the hidden power. He had to integrate that. So there's many movies and animations that you could watch where they're talking about where there's this being, and all of a sudden there's another animation called Bleach, where he meets a shadow aspect of himself and he has to integrate that. You see, so if Simba in The Lion King, when he was going to fight Set meaning representing the darkness, he was going to integrate the shadow self. Watch there's a guy who speaks well about integrating the shadow, Jordan Peterson, he's a clinical psychologist. He speaks well about the integration of the shadow. So when you integrate the shadow, the shadow is that aspect of you that it's there because you are a dual being. But it's that part that most people don't want to acknowledge, especially religious people. They don't want to acknowledge the fact that they have the potential for evil, or that they could act out these evil deeds. They want to always be like, no, I'm a good person. All of us have the potential to be bad, but the fact that we choose good, that's the power. That's the power. The knowing that you could be evil, but you're like, nah, man, I choose this. Now that's power. Now that's you now integrating, knowing that oh my God, I could just, but because I'm choosing this, and it's not that you are running away from it, it's facing that it's being two-faced. Here's another example. The Joker and Batman are two aspects of the same being again. two aspects of the same being again. One, which is kind of ironic because the bat is, it works in the night, but one is saying, yo, bro, I'm trying to show you. Let me tell you how the Joker in the movie Batman revealed. I think it's I forgot which Batman it was, but that one was amazing. It's that guy who played the Batman so well. It's that guy who played the Batman so well that even after that he passed away because he was so into that character. There's a part where he put two sets of bombs on a boat, and then he called on the intercom and he said that, yo, I've placed two sets of bombs. There's a bomb on this boat and there's a bomb on the other boat. So when people look outside the window, they see that there's another boat. And he said, hey, whichever boat destroys the other boat and presses the button, they get to live. And now people from both, they start looking at each other, and then the other ones are like, let's press it. And then some people in that boat are like, no, but there's kids on the other boat. It's like, no, I don't care. I have kids at home. So the Joker, oh man, they played that part so well. So the Joker was showing people, basically, they're like, yo, all of y'all are just like me. All of y'all are just like me. I'm just now, he's showing it. But you had people in suits, panicking. And now that side of them that is hidden, it came out. Like, yo, they were willing to blow the other boat up. You see, because that shadow came forth because now it was put on the spotlight. So what you do in shadow work is that you put your shadow in the spotlight. You look at it, you bring it forth. That's why every movie, you always see the hero going into the darkness or going into some sort of cave, to face some beast. That's when he's going to integrate the shadow or fight a dragon. Shrek, when he went to go fight the dragon in order to save Fiona, that's the integration of the shadow. Whenever a hero, the main character in a movie, is facing the villain, that's him facing himself, the shadow. And notice what happens every time after he faces the villain, he becomes stronger. The villain makes the hero stronger. So the shadow, the darkness, is what gives purpose to the seed. Because in order for a seed to become a tree, you have to place it underneath. It has to die as a seed underneath the ground so that it could be born as a plant and then become a tree. You see, so it has to go underneath. You have to go into the darkness, which is what your soul is doing. That's what you're doing here on earth. You are integrating the shadow, and your soul is being accelerated, or your spirit, because the moment you come into a physical body, your spirit is accelerated in this particular experience. You see, so your challenges, the lust, the jealousy, the envy, the greed, all of us have these things. We all of us have jealousy, all of us have pride, all of us have anger, all of us have lust. There's no perfect human being, but we have these in different degrees. You see, so now your purpose is to say that, you know what, I'm an angry person, I'm a jealous person, I'm a prideful person, and then you work on that. Because when you work on that, you set your soul free. But then when you keep thinking that you are perfect and then everyone else is at fault, then what you are basically doing is that you are prolonging a work that you are going to inevitably do anyway when you die. You see, because people think that when you die, you just go into this happy place. No way. No way. There's no way. When you die, my G, like your thoughts, your emotions, your desires, they remain with you because those exist on an energetical level. The only thing that you leave behind when you die is your body. Your thoughts, your memories, those continue on. Your essence, that part of you that is aware of being, it lives on, and it can live in different dimensions where you can now exist with angels and your ancestors, and you could you could live in different places. But before you could even go to those places, you have to face the most immediate experience, which was your physical body and the things that you've encountered here. So you have to master these things so that when you do finally leave the body and you transition, it's much easier for you to leave the different types of bodies and to now go back and become one with the source. Because right now you are still one with the body. Your body has locked in your soul into this experience. It's deep like that. It's deep. You are deep. You are deep in the ocean. Jonah, in the tomb of the whale. What's in the tomb? What's in the womb? It's dark in there. Shadow integration. Saul, before he became Paul, when he went blind for 3 days, shadow integration. Jesus, dead for 3 days, when he was up on the desert fighting or being tempted by the devil, shadow integration. He was being tempted by an aspect of himself. Shadow integration. Joseph, betrayed by his brothers, thrown into a pit, into a hole. Shadow integration. Every time you see this darkness, someone thrown in a jail. Shadow integration. Integrating the shadow, becoming one with it. When Simba was running back to face Set, that's when he was finally facing his shadow. So he was afraid of his shadow. That's why he couldn't go back. That's why he was afraid to go back. He was afraid of his shadow, his secrets. In the shadow is where the secrets are. They are encapsulated within a tomb. They're encapsulated within a darkness. So if you don't do shadow work, you are lying to yourself. If you keep walking around thinking that you are this divine exalted being, my G, come on, man, you lying to yourself. None of us are perfect. None of us are perfect. We all have impurities. And now the purpose is to come into... Ooh, I wanted to, I did say that we're just going like, but I'm taking a deep level. Now I'm going deeper than deeper. Now I'm just going, oof. This always happens. This always happens. This always happens. The shadow. When the sun is out and you are walking, what follows you everywhere? Your shadow. Your shadow is with you. It's an aspect of you. You have a shadow. Physically, psychically, you have a shadow. And you have to acknowledge that. If you don't acknowledge the fact that you could be murderous and you could poison someone and kill them, or that you could do all these horrific things, when you've had those weird thoughts, that's the shadow. You've had these weird thoughts, man, like, if I could just, oh my, sometimes they seem like, damn, why did I have that thought, such an evil thought? How could I even think that? That's the shadow. But once you become one with the shadow, you realize these thoughts not to be things that can have power over you, but like the fact that you just become aware of it. You just become aware of it. And now you become the lion lying with the lamb. There's a verse in the Bible, they say that in the last days, the lion and the lamb shall eat straw together. That's the integration of the shadow. The lion can, it's like, and the lamb's like, oh man, it's all peaceful. So when they're talking about that, they're talking about yin and yang. You merging those two aspects of yourself. Being able to know that, I am God, but I can also be Satan. You see, we all have God inside of us. We all have God. We have the potential to do good, to feed starving people, to help the needy, to go out of your way to help a stranger. We all have that inside of us. It's beautiful. But at the same time, we all have that jealousy. We all have that thing where you look at someone and you're like, this person is doing better than me. I wish they could die. Or this person is, we have that side of us too. And if you don't acknowledge that, you can't integrate it. You need to look at what that side is, because there's a purpose to it. The purpose of the dark, light comes from the dark. You don't get darkness from light. You get light from darkness. The darkness is chaotic, it's primary. The light is the order. So in order for you to understand yourself as order, you have to go and understand yourself as chaos. You have to understand yourself as darkness. You have to integrate the shadow. You need to, come on, it's beautiful. And once you can integrate that, you become, that's why in the book of Isaiah, God says that I create the good and I create the bad. I heal and I make sick. I create and I destroy. Two sides. That's God saying that in the Bible, in Isaiah. I create the good and I create the bad. So most of us, we just want to be good. Like, no, I'm only good. It's good to choose the good. But if you deny the fact that you are prideful, that you have anger, that you have whatever, that you are lazy, there's something about you that you know that you have. And because you don't want to acknowledge that, you are ignoring your shadow, and it's going to keep following you even in the hereafter until you integrate that. And once you integrate that, you can now ascend to higher states of consciousness, where you understand yourself to be both. And then once you are both, you become beyond what the two are. You are a trinity now, because you see light and you see dark. And if you can see light and dark, it means that you are beyond light and dark. You see, you are beyond left brain, right brain. You become center point. You become the pineal gland. You become center point. The middle path, the narrow path, you begin to walk that path. So that's what shadow integration is. It's knowing that there's parts of you that are like, yay, woo, yeah. And some things, it's even beyond what you've done. It's what was done to you. Experiences that have hurt you, that have created a shadow that you need to go and be like, this was done to me as a kid. Man, my mom didn't love me. My mom abandoned me. She threw me out. I never knew my dad. Now you hate your dad. Or, all these things. Like, that's where there's a shadow there. And you have to go in and even though you've never met your father, even though your mom has abandoned you, it's spiritually, you can have conversations where you forgive. Like, you know what? I forgive my dad, man. I forgive my mom. I forgive my sister. I forgive my brother. I forgive, because forgiveness is what's going to set you free. If you've done something wrong, it's good to say sorry, because when you say sorry, you burn, you become the phoenix. They say that the phoenix rises from the ashes. So in order for you to rise, you have to acknowledge that you are a bad person. To some people, you've been a jackass. They say everyone is a villain in somebody else's story. So sometimes when you sit alone and you contemplate on such things, you can see that you are not the holy holy. What? You are not the holy holy. You are not the holy holy. But when you integrate the shadow, you become the holy holy. You become enlightened. You get the halo. Knowing that you have the most ultimate power. The power to do good or to do bad, but you choose the good. You choose the good. Because once you understand that you are one with everything and everyone, you would not want to do, that's why do unto others as you would want them to do unto you. If humans knew that I'm gonna give you a young one, a young preview to the next video. If humans knew that everything that you do to other people, that they experience through you, you're gonna feel that when you die. So if you make people happy, if most of your life you've made people happy and laugh and all these things, most of your experiences in the afterlife is that is going to get turned around, and you are going to feel what it's like to be on the receiving end from your own experiences, or from what you were. So you're going to experience yourself, but from other people's perspective, so that you could understand things. You see, so if many people around you like you just a horrible person, in the hereafter, you experience what they felt. So when you've caused pain on another, you experience that on the higher levels. Those are the levels that they call purgatory. That's where mostly beings that are like down. I'm getting too deep with it. So family, that's where we're gonna stop it. I have a young announcement to make. It's time. It's time, as you know, that it was my birthday and I got initiated into my throat. So now the people have come. They're like, nah, it's time. It's time. We're ready. Soon now, I'm going to be having classes. And in those classes, but I'm going to give you all the details, in terms of how the one-on-ones will work and all of that, because I've had people text me on Facebook, some on Twitter, like, oh man, I want to have a one-on-one. I have so many questions, I resonate with what you say. How can I apply it? I've been getting those texts for a long time, but it wasn't time yet. Because I don't just want to come and say, yeah, let me tell you, no, like everything goes accordingly, because everything I know, it's just different levels, man, of initiation and different levels, because there's nothing that I'm going to tell you that you don't know. It's just agreements with me and my people and you and your people. Your people allow you, or your people are the ones who have allowed you to watch me to remind you of what you already know. That's why when you watch me, you're like, oh man, I get what he's saying. It's not that what I'm saying is special because I'm special. You are enjoying my videos because you are special. And and when you hear me speak and you're like, oh man, I gotta comment on this guy. There's this guy on YouTube, he says these amazing things. It's not because I'm amazing, it's because you're amazing. And my words hit you at that frequency where now you will begin to remember who you are. That's why Christ said that I will bring you to the remembrance of yourself. You see, so now when we go to these churches and we give these pastors and these people money, people keep losing a lot of money because pastors make it seem as if they are the only ones that God speaks to. When what they should be doing is being messengers to say, yo, all of us have the potential to be spoken to by divinity, because divinity exists in every person. No one person is much more special than the other, but some people have been initiated into states that others haven't been. You see, which those people have the potential to be initiated into, which now just goes to grace. It goes to now integrating the shadow, the spiritual work. Have you done the work or not? You see, so peace, love, and light to you all, family. Much love and light. I will give the details about the consultations soon, I promise you. And it's there are the consultations and the one-on-one teachings and the classes and how I'm still working that out with my people in the spiritual realm, and also my team in the physical realm as well. So peace, love, and light to you all.